reading the question carefully, I'm asking about her left shoulder to pull herself into the truck. And she's a rock star, by the way.
Yes.
And it's just is more evidence that a lot of things are possible. Left shoulder, the one that's still on the chair, she's fixing to use to pull. Okay, so you probably in real life would have wanted to watch that a few times, but I'll just spoiler alert that she is pulling with that arm. So let's look at what our choices are. And let's do this game right here. This is a good one. What I would decide is in that act of pulling, I want to think about what shoulder movement is the effort, what scapular movement is the effort, and what elbow movement is the effort. And I cheated a little bit because I went ahead and looked at the choices, and that's fine. Because if you glance at the choices and all the choices are just scapular muscles, then you don't need to go through this whole rigmarole with the rest of her arm. But I see 3 choices in each of these options, and they are combinations of scapular muscles and shoulder muscles and elbow muscles. So we're going to do the whole deal. So to pull herself up, let's start at the elbow. What elbow movement is happening?
Flexion.
Flexion. Elbow flexion. And she did it. So she used her elbow flexors. And what are the elbow flexors? Biceps, brachialis, and brachioradialis. And I know some of y'all are still getting that concreted in, but at least make sure you got to hear with me. Okay, what shoulder movement did we see? So let's back that up a little bit. Okay, so it looked like she was kind of pulling from front to back. It wasn't quite like this. It was more like this. I don't think it would have messed you up even if you thought it was a little bit like this. But for the sake of, let's be on the same page, let's say she did it like this. What shoulder movement is that? Extension. So she was using her shoulder extensors. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Latissimus, teres major, and triceps. And again, if you're not here yet, don't freak out. You're still going to get a lot out of recognizing that, okay, that's where I want to be, but it was these steps that would have gotten me there. And then how do I know what her scapula is doing? I can't even see her scapula. It's under a shirt. What should you be saying to yourself to decide her scapular action? The arm was moving blank, and your choices are up, down, forward, back. Down mostly. If you wanted to throw in some back, I don't think that would have messed you up. But let's just go with down and see if that gets us there. If the arm is moving down, the scapula is downwardly rotating. And if she did it, she used her downward rotators. And there's 2 of those.
Rhomboids and levator.
Don't freak out if that list didn't come to you. That's what your brain would have done next, is gone to that list that you're going to spend some time learning those lists of muscles. So now let me look at my 4 choices and see what I might want to eliminate. Yeah, let's play the elimination game before we land on one we really like. So I hear somebody saying it can't be the one with anterior deltoid. I like that argument. What does the anterior deltoid do? It's a shoulder flexor. It would help you raise the arm into flexion, not pull the arm down into extension. So don't love that. I also don't love serratus anterior because her arm is coming down and maybe even a little bit down and back. It's definitely not coming up and forward. And the serratus upwardly rotates your scapula or abducts your scapula, like it would be acting if the effort were on getting the arm up. But we've got the effort on getting the arm down. So I don't love B. Good one. Somebody else see one you want to eliminate? I think let's eliminate D. Let's talk about that one. Now I'm not eliminating it because of the triceps, because triceps is one of the muscles I wrote up there. But I don't love coracobrachialis. Why? It, just like the anterior deltoid, it's a flexor of the shoulder. It brings the humerus forward and up. It doesn't pull the humerus down and back. And I don't love trapezius, really, because the arm is moving down. That means the scapula is downwardly rotating. The trapezius is an upward rotator, not a downward rotator. So I'm not loving that one either. So what does that leave me with?
C.
Let's eliminate one more.
Oh.
C is the answer, but let's see why not A? Why don't I love A? What does a pec minor do? Scapular depression. And can you tell that by arm going up, down, forward, and back? No. And I don't really see any clear evidence that she's doing scapular depression, but that's probably not the main reason. Well, yeah, I don't love that. Levator is a downward rotator, so you're in a pause here. But so let's see why we like C better. What do the rhomboids do to the scapula?
They do
Downwardly rotate and adduct the scapula. That's okay. That's on my list. That's good. What does the latissimus dorsi do to the shoulder, to the humerus?
Extend.
It's a shoulder extensor, and we said she was using her shoulder extensors, so that's good. And why might the biceps be a player? Why might I need to use the biceps? Because it's an elbow flexor. In other words, I'm picking a choice that had one of these, and one of these in it. But I didn't look at the video and jump in my mind right to the muscle without first getting to the oars. I need to find me a shoulder extensor, a scapular downward rotator, and an elbow flexor. This one was a lot, and there might be one or two questions at most on the test that would be this much. I'm more likely to focus on questions that are more just at the shoulder or just at the scapula or just at the elbow. Whereas this one made you look at all three at the same time. But it's still the same question. Even if I'd said what's going on with just the scapula, you still have to say, well, what is the scapula doing? Did she do it? What are those muscles? It's still the mental process to get there.